Hello everybody, my name is H2-OZeno, and I'm doing a video here of Road to Unusuals. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Here up on the screen you see a Sandman. This is going to be my starter weapon. It was my first random drop. So yeah, let's go ahead and start here. That's pretty much my introduction. Yeah, okay, got a strong introduction. Why does this go on so long? Okay, well, that's interesting. Come on. Come on. No, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. There we go. Okay, now moving on, I have a Sandman. I traded it for a Widowmaker and a Strongbox right there. So yeah, that's around 1.5 scrap. And then moving on, I got a bunch of random weapons that I traded, over time. And then I got a random Secret Saxon drop, a bunch of random weapons, and the Strongbox from earlier. And I traded all of that for a genuine Nano Balaclava, which is worth around 1.66. Nice trade there. I really like that trade. Okay, so yeah, genuine Nano Balaclava, nice spy hat. Then I sold the genuine Nano Balaclava for 1.66 refined. So yeah, I liked that trade. It was a fair trade, really nice trade. Then I took a 1 refined and a craft weapon and traded it for a Festive Zapper and a Festive Eyelander. So 2 ref for 1 ref, pretty much. I then sold the Festive Eyelander for 1 refined metal. So again, pure. I then sold the Festive Eyelander for a strange Festive Force of Nature. Really nice deal there. Really like that. 1.66 to 1 refined. Yeah. Then I sold the Strange Force of Nature for a Strange Bushwalker, which is worth significantly more, around 1.66 for the Force of Nature, 3.33 for the Bushwalker. It was a nice deal. The guy wanted a scout item. This is interesting, actually, because I did a heavy box, which pretty much means 2 heavies both use their fists and they beat each other to death, and the first person to kill the other one 3 times wins. So I heavy boxed against a Clean Anger, my Strange Bushwalker, and I won. So I got a free Strange Anger. Or, not Strange Anger. Clean Anger, sorry. Worth around 3.33 refined as well, so pretty much doubled my backpack at this point. It was actually a really, really nice heavy box. I then sold the Strange Bushwalker for 3.33 refined. I really, really like that too. Got more pure. It's always good. I then took 4 refined and bought a vintage football helmet and a vintage respectless rubber glove. That worth around 5.33 refined in items. So it was cool. Nice deal. I then sold the vintage rubber glove for a clean whoopee cap, a uncraftable Defiant Spartan, and a clean neck warmer head warmer. So that's worth what, like 4 refined I think in items right there? Or 4.33 refined for a 2.66 ref hat. Pretty good deal, pretty good deal. I then sold the neck warmer head warmer for a clean Charmer's Chapeau and 2 reclaimed. That's worth around 4 ref in items for a 2 ref hat. Again, a nice deal, nice deal. And then, this is going to be a big one. I sold the Charmer's Chapeau, clean Charmer's Chapeau, for a Strange Bartolian's Backup, a Strange Equalizer, 1.11 refined metal pure, 2 chemistry sets, 1 for the Professor Specs, 1 for Dark Age Defender. I also got a Haunted Legend of Bugfoot, and an Engineer Mask, and a Sultan Ceremonial, plus a Strange Part Kills While Ubercharged. That's around 5-6 ref in items for a 3.33 ref hat. I'd say that's a pretty good deal. I then sold that Clean Anger that I got from earlier for a Brainiac Carapace, a Virus Doctor, and a Reclaim. That's around 4 ref in items, again, 4.33 or something like that, for a 3.33 ref hat. So, again, a nice deal. Yeah. I then sold the Clean Whoopee Cap for 1.33 refined. Always good to have pure. Pure is always better. I then used 1 refined and bought Uncraft Spooky Sleeves, a Garlic Flank Steak, and 2 scrap. That being worth around 2 refined in items for 1 refined pure, plus 2 scrap was sweets. Yeah, it was a nice deal. And then I sold my Strange Equalizer and my Kills While Ubercharged Strange Part for genuine Mempo. That's around 1.11 refined for a 1.22 ref hat. Or Misk, sorry, for Soldier and Demo. Anyway, I sold the Garlic Flank Steak and the Haunted Legend of Bugfoot for an Engineer Mask for Uncraft Defiant Spartan. Now I have 2 of them. Yeah, I don't know how I did that, but I managed to get 2 uncraftable Defiant Spartans. Anyway, sold the Strange Bartolian Backup and reclaimed for a Strange Solemn Vow. That's worth 0.66 on my side and 2 ref on his side. Nice deal there. I also sold a Strong Box and the 2 Professor Specs Chemistry, or the Professor Specs and Dark Age Defender chemistry sets for a refined metal. Another good deal. I then sold the Vintage Football helmet for a clean Demo Crown and 1.33 refined pure. So that's like 4 ref in items, or 3 ref in items, sorry. I then instantly sold the Demo Crown for 1.66 refined pure. Somebody who's desperate for a Demo Crown, a clean one. So, nice deal, awesome. I also bought a quick sell genuine Scotsman stovepipe. At the time, that was worth around a key. Now it's worth like 5 ref or something, but at the time it was worth like a key, so 4 ref for it was a good deal. So, yeah. I then bought a uncraftable Defiant Spartan painted color number 216 something for a refined. It was worth like 1.33, so decent. I then sold my Strange Solemn Vow for a fast learner that's worth around 2.33, I believe. So 1 rec upgrade, better than nothing, right? This was interesting. Some guy actually on the server that I was on donated some stuff to me because he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna be nice, man, so I'm gonna donate my stuff. So yeah, this is what it is: Strange Sydney Sleeper, 2 Fabricators, and a Grim Haiti, a nice meta cat. So yeah, it was pretty nice of him. Actually, really nice of him. But yeah, it was just awesome. But anyway, so then I sold the Grim Hattie for 1.33 refined metal. That was actually a really nice deal in my opinion. And then this other guy decided he was going to donate too because he wanted to be in the cool kids group. I have no idea. Anyway, he managed to clean up and give me 2 Fabricators, 3 chemistry sets, 2 for Professor Specs, and 1 for the Dark Age Defender again, and then a Strange Neon Annihilator, a Strange Kakuri, and a Festive Force of Nature. I then used 2 refined and bought a Hotties hoodie for the Pyro painted Musculetum and a Pyrobotniks pack also for Pyro. So that's around 3 ref and items, I would say, for 2 refined. Nice deal, nice deal. Painted hats are sometimes hard to sell though, but still, and Robo hats are too, or Robo Misks even. Yeah, point being, it was a good deal. I then sold the Fast Learner for 2 refined and a Vintage Ubersaw. It's around 2.22 refined. This actually wasn't that good of a deal, but the Fast Learner just dropped to 1.66, so it was actually, I was just trying to get rid of it at that point, just because it was dropping. Anyway, I sold the Uncraft Spooky Sleeves then for 1.33 refined. Just a fair, equal trade. I then sold that Uncraft Painted Tyrant's Helm worth around 1.33 for a clean After Dark that's worth around 2 refined. So I actually really like that deal. It was a nice upgrade. Getting rid of that cancerous hat was a good thing. I then sold a Fabricator for the Frontier Justice for 1 refined that somebody had given me for free, so free refined pretty much. It was a nice thing. I then bought some a modest pile of hats from somebody who had just crafted one because he didn't really want it. And then I also sold a Strange Force of Nature for a refined, which is another nice deal. I then sold an Ellis cap, which I don't actually remember how I got this. I think, no, because I own Left 4 Dead on my computer, so I'm assuming that's why I got it, but I got an Ellis cap, and I sold it for a refined, so yeah, awesome. I then sold that Modest that I got earlier for 1.33 refined pure. That was another nice deal. I really like that, because it's a Modest, it's cool, and it's pure. Anyway, this is another longer trade. I had my After Dark and a Strange Kakuri that I traded for a Strange Blutsauger, a Vintage Deadringer, a Vintage Frontier Justice, and a Scrap Metal. That's around 3 refined items on his side and 2.33 refined items on my side. So he overpaid, but they were in kind of cancerous vintages and stuff. Anyway, I then sold my Uncraftable Defiant Spartan for a clean Fumius Tusanka, a nice hat for Soldier, so 1 ref to 1.33. I then sold my Strange Sydney Sleeper for a Strange Part Fires to put out, or something like that. Anyway, it was a nice deal, just I thought it was at the time, but then the part started dropping, so it ended up not being that good of a deal, but still, who doesn't like strange parts, right? I then sold my Genuine Mempo for a Genuine Canine Mane. Those 2 are actually worth the same, but then he added a Vintage Gerardian as sweets, because he wanted the Mempo more. Obviously, that makes sense, but yeah, so moving on. I won another heavy box against a Reclaimed Metal. Nothing special, just a Reclaimed. It was a nice heavy box. He put up a good fight. Next one, I sold a Brainiac hairpiece for 2.33 refined. That was also a nice deal. I then sold the Pyrobotniks pack. That was worth 1.22 for 1.33. I was pretty happy with that trade as well. I sold my Uncraftable Defiant Spartan and my Genuine Canine Mane, or my Clean Defiant Spartan, for 2 refined, a Strange Pain Train, and a Strange Persian Persuader. So that's worth significantly more on his side than on mine. Yeah, and then I sold my Virus Doctor for 1.33 refined pure. That was a nice deal too. I then sold my Strongbox for a Genuine Canine Mane and a Vintage Sergeant Arch. I got the Strongbox as a drop, and this guy was, for whatever reason, really wanting a Strongbox, so he paid like 1.55 refined in items for a 1 scrap item. I do not know why he did that, but he did. I then sold my Vintage Deadringer, my Vintage Frontier Justice, my Vintage Ubersaw, and my Strange Persian Persuader for a Deep Commitment to Purple Paint worth around 2.33 refined. My items were worth around 1.33 refined, so it was actually a good deal there, and I like paint. So I also sold my Strange Pain Train, my Vintage Girardi for 1 reclaimed. This is actually a downgrade, but it was in pure and those items are cancer. So moving on, I sold my Strange Bloodsaga for a Strange Liberty Launcher and 2 reclaimed. The Strange Liberty Launcher had a strange part on it though, so it was actually more valuable than the 1.66 that it's normally worth. So it wasn't an equal trade. He overpaid by a good bit. It's worth around 4 ref, the Liberty Launcher is. And then I sold 3 Fabricators for 2 refined. This was another nice deal. Guy wanted Fabricators. I then sold that Liberty Launcher for a genuine K9 main, a craftable Spooky Sleeves, a genuine Blind Justice, and a Heavyweight Champion belt. That's worth around like 5 ref and items for like a barely 3 ref item. Anyway, and then I sold my paint for 2.33 refined. Deep commitment to purple. I then sold my Sultan Ceremonial and 2 reclaimed for 2 refined, pretty much selling it for 1.33 refined, but I just provided change. So I then sold my Hottie's Hoodie painted Musculatum for a level 100 Popeyes. It's level 100, so it's slightly more valuable. This was actually an equal trade, but the Muscat was hard to sell, and the Popeyes were level 100, so, and it was already an upgrade, so it was nice. I then sold my genuine K9 main for a clean Defiant Spartan. The other Defiant Spartans were all dirty, sorry if I messed that up, but my only clean Defiant Spartan, I was pretty happy with that. I then sold the Professor Specs Chemistry set for 1 reclaimed metal, so that was another deal. I then sold a craft weapon for a scrap. You're never going to stop doing this, honestly. Just be honest with yourself. You're never going to stop freaking trading craft weapons for scrap. Anyway, I then sold the genuine Blind Justice for 1.1 run refined. It was worth 1 to 1.1 run refined, so it was actually quite a nice deal in my opinion. I then sold 1 refined, 1 reclaimed, and 1 scrap for a haunted Snaggle, a haunted Horned Honchos, and haunted Jupiter Jumpers. That's around 2 ref and items, but they're haunted, so they're kind of cancer and really hard to sell. But point being is I did get a nice deal around 0.55 refined off of what their actual price was. That's almost a whole one. This is another big trade. I traded 4 refined and 1 reclaimed for a genuine Mempo, a Brimful of Bullets, an Escapist, and a what's called a Lay Homie thing. It's a hat for Spy. That's worth around 5 refined, all that stuff together for 4.33. I then sold a Strange Neon Annihilator for 1 scrap, which trading. I then sold the Escapist for 1.33, another clean trade. I then sold my Fumius Fusanka for a clean Demo Crown. They were actually worth the same amount, but he threw in 2 scrap as sweets because his hat is uncrafted and mine isn't. I then sold that level 100 Popeyes from earlier, which is worth around 2.33 for a Bited Beak that's worth around 2 refined. I only did this because the Bited Beak is a lot easier to sell than the Popeyes, because the Popeyes were level 100. That's the only reason why they're more valuable, so I actually like that deal. I then sold a genuine K9 main for 1 refined and 2 scrap. I then sold that Lay Home item from earlier for a Lone Star worth 1.66, not genuine, just a regular Lone Star. So 1.33 to 1.66, another upgrade. I then sold that craftable Spooky Sleeves from earlier for a Meet the Medic taunt and a Reclaim that's around 2 ref and items for 1.66 ref Scout hat or Misk. I sold that Brimful of Bullets from earlier for 1.1 run refined, a dueling minigame. It's around 1.55 refined on his side. I then sold that genuine Mempo worth 1.22 for a 1.66 refined Festive Ubersaw. Moving on, I sold that heavyweight champion belt for a Strange Bot Killer Silver Mark II knife and 1 scrap. I don't know why he added the scrap. He just kind of did. It was a nice deal for me. Worth like 2.55 on his side, 1.33 on mine. I then sold that Bot Killer knife and a scrap for 3 refined, so kind of cleaning up my weapons there. I then sold that Bited Beak almost instantly on Outpost for 2 refined. I had never put on Outpost before, but it sold pretty fast. I then sold that Haunted Horned Honchos for 2 reclaimed. He was looking for level 4 items and happened to be level 4. I sold that Lone Star and the dueling minigame for an Apparitions Aspect, a nice hat for Pyro. That was like a rec upgrade. I then bought a Steel Shaco for 1 refined. It was worth around 1.22 at the time. I then bought, with my 1 refined, I bought an uncraftable Milkman, a Shortstop, a Mad Milk, and a just a regular Holy Mackerel. This set is worth around 1.66, but he just wanted to kind of sell it, so I bought it for 1 refined. So awesome. It was a nice set. It's kind of hard to see there, but anyway, I heavy boxed against 1 refined and 1, so I was pretty happy about that. Moving on, I bought a genuine Planeswalker goggles for 3.33 refined. It's worth around 4.33 refined, so 1 ref off, nice chunk. I also bought with the Meet the Medic taunt and my Haunted Jupiter Jumpers, I bought 2 refined. Well, sort of. Anyway, this is another big trade because I had realized I had too much metal, so I decided to trade all my metal for keys. So I traded my 21 refined for 3 keys. Yeah, keys are 7 refined. Anyway, I bought this genuine Tyrant's helmet at a quick sell price for 4 refined. It's worth around a key, but nobody really likes genuine hats. I do, though. I love genuine hats and vintage hats. Anyway, I then had my clean Defiant Spartan and my haunted old Snaggle, and I sold that for a vintage rubber glove worth slightly more, like a Wreckmore, I think. But it's a vintage glove. It treated me well last time. So, and then I sold my Festive Ubersaw for 1.66 refined pure. That was also another nice deal. I then sold my Dark Age Defender chemistry set for 5 robo parts that are worth around a refined for all of them. But yeah. Moving on, I sold my Genuine Planeswalker goggles and my Milkman set for 3 robo parts in Aladdin's Private Reserve, which is a hat for demo, 1.22 refined pure, a Festive Islander, a Festive Black Box, and Muscroletum Paint. That's around like 5-6 refin items, or yeah, like 6 refin items. On my side is like 5 refin items, so it's actually quite a nice deal. I really like that. Nice upgrade. Nice upgrade. And then I sold my Professor Specs chemistry set for a reclaimed, and I bought a Idea Tube for a refined. It's worth around 1.66. I then sold that steel Shako from earlier for 1.33 refined pure. That was also another good deal. I then sold my Uncraft Demo Crown for 1.33 refined. I then sold another craft weapon for a scrap. Seriously, guys, just do it. Just sell your weapons for scrap. I then bought another key for 7 refined, so... this is actually an interesting trade, because as you see in the bottom, I have a Conquistador there, and I didn't get that earlier. I didn't trade for that. It was actually a random drop that I got. I was pretty happy with it, and I didn't really want to sell it, but then I realized I kind of had to, because this guy really wanted soldier hats, and he had a bill, so I gave him my Genuine Tyrants, my Conquistador, and my 4 keys for his bills. He was actually kind of happy. That's only 5 keys, and the bills were 6 right now, so... yeah, it was a good deal for me, but he really wanted those soldier hats. He really wanted that Tyrants too, so it was cool. Yeah, moving on. I sold those robot parts for 0.66. This is actually a downgrade because they're worth around a refine, but I didn't really care. This is another interesting trade because I needed virtual reality headsets for a collector's virtual reality headset chemistry set that I have in my main account, so I bought one for 1.33 refined off another trader just because I saw it, and then I just sold it back to myself. So, yeah, it was pretty cool. Moving on, this guy was really desperate for paint to paint his Manco cap, so he paid me 3.22 refined for my Muscroletum paint. Don't really know why he did that. He just did. So, I'm not going to argue. Moving on, this guy gave me a key for free because he just, he said, here, go get your unusual. You're on your road to unusual. Go, my friend. It was very moving. Anyway, so got a free key, and this is where things got awesome. I traded my entire backpack, which at this point consisted of a Bills, 1 refined, 1 scrap, and 1 reclaimed, plus a key, a decal tool, which I also got as a random drop, surprisingly enough, and the Fires Survive Strange Part, Festive Islander, Festive Black Box, Apparitions Aspect, the Idea Tube, if I didn't already mention that, the Vintage Respectus Rubber Glove, and the Scotsman Stovepipe, all for a level 69 vintage, or not vintage, unusual Hound Dog. I was super happy with this trade. My items are worth around 8.5 keys, and his was worth around 10 to 13. So yeah, guys, this video took me a really long time, and I'd really appreciate if you liked or subscribed it or shared it with your friends or whatever. This probably took me a couple of hours to do, actually. Anyway, so thank you so very much. I appreciate all of your guys' attention and time with this. So yeah, I'll talk